At 7 o'clock, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right. Just a reminder, if you have a desire to speak at public comments, to make sure that you are signed in on our ledger on the podium here. And all right, moving on to our first item on the agenda, approval of July minutes and August claim docket. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to look through those.
I have reviewed the July minutes and August claim dockets, and I make a motion that they stand.
All right, I have a first motion.
I'll second.
Got a second motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, old business. First item I have on here, quotes for grading parking lot. Pete.
I think you guys should have copies. Grand Excavating, J.R. Reynolds.
Any questions for Pete on the bids?
I see the Marines is cheaper than
Appropriation report.
J.R. Reynolds. So,
The only other difference
Yeah.
is Marine is gonna put in the sewer hookup and bury it, so we don't have to dig back across it if that happens.
well,
That's the very
Yeah.
last item on
yeah.
this.
I would make a motion that we accept Marine Excavating to grade our parking lot for us over there.
All right, you got a first motion?
Time out.
Okay.
You gonna encumber this to next year and pay it next year? Cause you don't have the money to do it this year.
No. Well, yeah. That's, can't do it then.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, you can accept it
Yeah.
and, yeah, you can accept it if they'll
If they'll
accept it for 6 months and the same price. And you can
Yeah.
encumber whatever money we had, cause we did put money in the budget for that for next year.
Well, maybe we better table that and you talk to
Just,
them,
yeah,
see
I
what
can
they.
talk to him,
Most of the time, bids are, they usually put a statement, it's good for 30 to 45 days-ish.
Right.
So,
Right. And if they'll come back like in October, November and write another one that we can use to carry the money over, then that'd be okay. But I'm just saying, there's
Yeah.
no money. All the money that we have is going toward the grant fund match, anything
Yeah.
we have extra. I need to talk to you about the PAMP to see how much more that's gonna cost, cause there's just no money left. It's bad,
okay.
in motor vehicle highway
Yeah.
especially.
Well, I rescind my motion and just talk to him and see if he's willing
So
to.
you say October, somewhere in there?
Probably if they would give us another bid in October, November, and make sure it's good for 60 or 90 days.
Yeah, and I would say both, tell both of them to
Yeah.
be quote again.
Yeah.
I had a third, but he
Yeah.
never did. I mean, he come over and looked at it and everything, but he never did submit.
Let him get rid of it.
Whatever.
Okay, all right. Motion is tabled.
Yeah.
All right. Next item I have on old business, number of reserve police officers. Chief Reminder?
The state legislator has mandated for city, towns, and counties to mandate how many reserves they can have. So I need you all to mandate how many we can have. I would give a recommendation, probably, currently we have 6 slots that were available. Actually, we only have 4 reserves right now because we hired 2 of the reserves, so they're technically not reserve status, they're paid status. So we currently have 4 reserves. I would recommend between 8 to 10. That gives you a little bit of movement, so you don't have to make a new ordinance down the road. I wouldn't get it.
Did they give any guidelines on that?
No guidelines at all. The statute, I got the statute here, it says, it's IC 368320 was amended, a county, town, or city shall provide by ordinance the number of police reserve officers that the department may appoint.
Was this the same legislation where they were trying to limit the number, like the
I
state
think
wanted
this
to
was
put a cap?
This was
and then-
a, compromise to that one. So because I think they do want to limit it, but they haven't limited it, so it's basically, they want town councils to have more say in that. I think there has been some town marshals, some smaller towns like us that have like 30 reserves, which would be a nightmare to manage.
Yeah.
So I think that they wanna make sure town councils, I think, know how many reserves they actually have on their department.
So we've got
If we set a
2
date,
We have 4 reserves currently, we've had 6, we hired 2 of them as
Yeah.
paid. Honestly, I don't want more than 8,
Yeah.
cause then it just becomes a full-time job managing, you know? So it gets pretty difficult, to be honest with you, but 10 does give you, you don't have to, it could be easy too, you could come back and just make another ordinance and say, hey, the town's growing in, let's say, 3-4 years, you wanna expand it, you can.
That's just a guideline, that don't mean you have to have 10.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. You guys can basically make an ordinance that says however many you guys wanna have. But the legislator has now mandated that, so I would say the sooner the better on with making that ordinance.
so does this have to go to Graham?
Probably,
Yeah.
Do reserve officers, like, do our insurance rates change with the number of reserve
well, I think
officers?
so. So right now, we currently with our insurance, if I remember right, we talked to her, 3 or 4 months ago, and she asked how many reserves we had, and we told her 6. So I think right now our insurance is for 6 reserves. So yes, I would say that it probably goes up. I bet there's probably a number in there, like 5 to 10, 10 to 15, 15 to 20, unless it goes up for every officer, but we could reach out to her and check, but 6 might, I'm okay with 6, to be honest with you. I think we can do a lot with 6 currently. As the town grows, I think you're gonna wanna expand that, but by insurance, I think we're only supposed to have 6.
Well, I'm good with 6.
And that,
Since
you
we're
know, that
already-
gives us,
since we're
that would
already
give us a
insured.
total of 9 then, right? Cause we have 3 paid
Yeah.
as well, so that's a lot more coverage, I think, than we've had in the past years.
All right, so, this Indiana code is just mandating town councils come up with an ordinance.
That mandates how many reserves that the town marshal, chief, or sheriff can have.
At a maximum,
Correct, at a maximum,
not a minimum.
not a minimum,
Okay, just a maximum.
Correct,
And then, provided that our insurance coverage is aware of that same number,
correct.
then that would be kind of the data that we would put in this
Correct.
ordinance.
Correct.
All right.
And I think that we're okay with you guys doing this on the next town board meeting, but I think we need to do it like, I wouldn't put it off too many, cause technically, I guess then we would be out of policy from the state statute. which that state statute went into effect, I believe, July 1st. But that's when, they only notified us July 1st, that that's the case.
Okay. Can you email that state
Yep,
statute to
sure
me,
can.
and then
Yep.
we can work on, I don't know,
Yep. Yeah, and it probably wouldn't hurt to talk to Graham about it as well, and see what his thoughts are on it.
okay. All right, we will, definitely work on that. Any other questions for Chief Remender on that reserve number?
Just to throw out the hypothetical, there are a couple of reservists get laid up, somehow they can't perform their duties. And we're short, if we add someone over the 6, is that a no-no, or just?
Correct, that would be actually a no-no, correct. Yeah, we would be in violation then. So that's kind of where my recommendation would be, to put it as 8, but then we also have to keep in account what insurance is.
So we'd have to be able to, even though we don't have 8 reservists, we have 6, we still have to, we would still be funding a slot of 8 for insurance.
Or would they just be placeholders?
Well, actually, I just think that would be a hold, so that, I think that insurance, from when I talked to her, it's, every year she'll call and ask us how many we have.
Uh-huh.
And so she'll bill us for that year based off of that number.
Okay.
And so then if one goes down, they would technically still be a reserve, even though they're not working, so you would want that extra.
So maybe we ought to set it at 8, and that way,
And if we keep it at 6,
right,
right,
Okay.
it gives you a little bit, we don't have to change the ordinance to increase, if that makes sense. And then we just keep it at 6. And then I would come and say, hey, I'd like to add somebody, I got a guy that's gonna be out for 6 months, 12 months or something like that.
Sounds reasonable.
Okay.
Okay. Next item is, yours also, Chief,
you're right.
new vehicle completion date.
This, I tell you, it's gotta be from the COVID stuff, but it takes forever to get anything done. This vehicle's sitting out in Greencastle for a month now. He tells me it's gonna be done tomorrow, but I wouldn't bet on it. So, we're still waiting on it, but has everybody had a chance to see it? Have they seen it?
Saw it.
It looks really good, it really, you know it's the police, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good thing. I think, I'm a believer that it deters crime when they see the police.
got it. So this is just a completion of like outfitting it?
Correct, with all the equipment, yep.
So when it comes back, it's ready for the race.
That day it comes back, it's operational.
Cool.
Yep.
Looks
So,
good.
yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, we're very thankful. Very nice. So hopefully it's tomorrow. I'll call him the first thing in the morning, but I'm not.
Just go with your nose pressed.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly. Well, when I took it out there, he literally had probably 50 cars in his lot that he was outfitting.
Everybody probably bought them the same way we did.
Yeah, exactly. So. Great,
Okay.
thanks.
Yeah, all right, thank you, Chief. And, next item on old business, price to cap well on Ohio Street. Pete?
Got some pictures there too, there's a second one you might want to consider. It's on 0 south of town, where Ronnie Cooper's driveway comes up to 0. Be the last picture.
Yeah, that first picture looks kind of dangerous, actually.
Yeah, it's right there where they park. I'm surprised somebody hadn't hit it.
If that was snow or whatever.
Yeah.
So, assuming you only wanna do one, it'd just be half.
Yeah.
Well, we've been told we don't have any money, so. Let's, talk to the accountant down here.
I can hash
How
it
much
off.
money do we have for capping a well?
Well.
I agree.
John's good looks, couldn't we?
Yeah. Get them all done.
Well.
That's an opinion.
That
Keep
it
digging,
is.
keep digging.
Everywhere I look, there's no money.
I mean, these have been there for 20-plus years.
Oh,
Yeah,
So these aren't a dire emergency. They can be pushed forward to the next budget year
Yeah.
without too much trouble.
yeah.
I mean, literally, and it's not like we get a report every week on somebody running into these, so.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, and that one on Crawford, that was the main one. That guy, he approached us once many months ago,
You're talking
and again,
about
Ohio.
I'll talk to him about it, okay, and tell him, it'd be, yeah.
Tell them to back into it in insurance and take care of it.
Maybe paint it bright yellow or fluorescent so somebody can see it.
Well, seriously, I cut them off, put a cap on it till we, well, no, wait a minute.
Yeah,
No, Pete,
Until we get ready to.
you're on a recorded, you're on a.
No, I'm
recorded-
saying then later on, we go ahead and finish it off right. So
Can we?
nobody-
Yes. Pete, I'm
Well.
ashamed.
Nope, Pete.
now that,
I'm just trying
I
to
would-
save some money.
Until
I
the
would
state
talk-
law comes and finds us, then you won't be saving us any money.
why not call English and ask him?
We
He's the
did.
one that said we had to do that where you filled the wellhead
Oh,
up and
yeah.
everything, and, okay, but
Yeah,
could you do that temporarily, then you would be covered.
Well, we're not going to clerk treasurer school next week, so you can use that money. Me and Judy will just stay here.
What kind of school was it?
Clerk treasurer school.
Oh,
Oh,
Maybe you should go.
you know all
We
about
should,
that.
but they didn't have anything that interested us.
okay. Well, how much was that?
How much is it? Cause I didn't get that. paper.
$1,200 for both of them, but
Well, there's 1,500 here.
See, you guys can go out with the other three.
That's right. We're gonna go get, tickets to see
Taylor Swift,
Taylor Swift.
well, you're a little short.
For $300, you're not gonna get
We'll be
tickets to
way
that
up in
concert
Mr.
for $300. All right, so the clerk treasurers have offered up their funds to pay for a well abandonment or two. So, any other questions or discussion?
No, make a motion, we accept that.
You better hurry.
Except what? What do you wanna do?
We're giving up the funds to go to both of them.
Okay, so the motion on the table is to accept both bids from Eli, or the bid from Eli English, well drilling to cap off both wells, one on Ohio and one on Zero. That's the motion I got.
I'll second the motion.
All right, move to second motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, clerk treasurers.
Yeah.
For sacrificing your school. All right, any other old business before we're moving on to new business? All right, new business, I got an email from Rhonda Beck at Daughters of the American Revolution, so I thought I'd bring this up real quick at the beginning. She has asked, is the town of Clayton wanting to participate in military banners again next year? So I said I'd bring it to the town council. Yeah.
It don't cost us anything, so.
No,
Yeah. Well, might, we don't have a bucket truck right now to put the banners up. So we might have to rent one.
It'd be going, it'd be
Was Jenny
going by
planning
Labor
on
Day.
Huh?
Was Jenny planning on going anywhere else?
Are you going anywhere next year?
Well,
So they ask every year
Yeah.
just because that's, I mean, they wanna know are we participating or not. So I thought I'd
I'd
bring
say
it up.
yeah.
and Say,
Yeah.
yes, okay. I will email her back and say we are participating for the 2024, 2025 year.
yeah.
All right, the section of Illinois from 0 over to Pennsylvania and some sections of Pennsylvania are not currently in the inventory that the Department of Transportation has for the town of Clayton. So even though we've officially named Illinois, it's been paved, we're using it as a one-way street, we have to have a formal vote out of town council that we adopt that section of the street as well as the sections of Pennsylvania that we have to incorporate. So, Illinois was how many feet?
283.
283 feet. And then that section of Pennsylvania from Illinois south to the property owners,
125.
125 feet.
6 inches.
And then the section of Pennsylvania north of Ader to the proper, or to the edge of town limits.
Yeah. It's 172 feet, 6 inches.
Okay,
Now, you want that in miles?
no, I do not. So we want to officially add these to our inventory because it gets us money with our motor vehicle highway funds, so.
I make a motion to accept that.
All right, I got a first motion.
I'll second.
I got a second motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries. So we'll send in the paperwork to DOT and get those added to our inventory.
And has to have your signature.
Okay. Next on the agenda, DORA, another state rule that passed this summer, took effect. I don't know if this is relevant to us or not. I just got an email and I thought I'd bring it up. DORA stands for Designated Outdoor Recreation Area. And so if a town has a place in the middle of town where you could buy an adult beverage, then you could leave that establishment with your adult beverage and move to other places in that designated area, other recreation things. So like if we had outdoor shops, you could buy your adult beverage, carry that adult beverage around as you shop or visit other, outdoor spaces and stuff like that. So I didn't know, some towns are rushing to adopt a DORA rule. I don't know that it's necessarily relevant to us, but I thought I'd bring it up and see. It would be pertinent to law enforcement as, hey, we've got, this area, so you see somebody, although I don't know how much they enforce what's the open container rule if you're carrying. Right, but.
Is there any place in town that sells adult beverage right now?
The Clayton Food Store sells alcohol. It's not open, but
Yeah.
but they sell alcohol.
But this might come into play if we're having something at the park, or if we had like some kind of a downtown festival or something.
Right.
And
Yeah,
as-
if we
as
had-
Danville kind of does and has the different vendors and the beer trucks and things.
Yeah.
If we had something like that, then this would be covered so folks could
Right. And, in
mosey around.
September, D&D Auto does their little, car show that's outdoors. So, would that be this type of a thing? So somebody, buys, some alcohol here at the Clayton Food Store and then wants to walk around and look at all the cars that D&D Auto has at their car show. This would be that type of thing if we're interested in putting that together.
I think it would be a good idea to stay ahead of it, and if we're gonna have something, we should probably have it in place before we get into a situation where we don't have it, and we should have had it. Does that make sense? Okay. So how do we pursue that?
I would probably email back and say, let's see an example of a law that some other town has
Okay.
started in this process, and I'd probably just copy and paste and cheat a little bit. And then see if that, and then bring it back to all of us and say, does this sound like something that we wanna use? All right, so we're interested in pursuing that. I will get on that process then. Thank you. Chief Reminder, we've got National Coffee Day coming up in October
Yeah.
4th. Coffee with a Cop is what they are
That's
calling
exactly
it.
what they do, yeah, so, just kinda wanted to get that on the radar as a good community engagement. Talked to Doug a little bit about it. They're really good at, I've had some success in my other department with this. They're really good for the public to come out and just kinda interact with, the department. My goal would be to have all my guys here that day. We could do it enough in advance, so that way everybody kinda, and then you do it for a few hours where people can kinda come and go. And then I also like to invite like county, since they do a lot of runs in this area too, kinda invite the South District guys that work south, to invite them as well.
Very good.
Assume there'll be donuts there too.
Well, you know there will be.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Do you know the date?
October 4th. Probably like 9 a.m. is kind of a good start time, probably. Kind of usually goes till about noon.
You stop having coffee at noon, huh?
If you're my parents, you don't.
The park's not rented that day, is it? Were you gonna do it at the park?
We'd probably like to team up with locally. We actually talked a little bit about the tea room.
Oh, okay.
Would be a good venue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, any establishment that
Yeah.
sells coffee would
Exactly,
be, you
correct.
could
Okay.
have, I mean, if you're gonna have all your officers here, you could divide them up and
Right, that's true too, yes.
make it so that
Yes.
it's
Yes, that's true.
something that they all can participate with.
Yeah, and a lot of times, you can get donations too, donuts.
Yeah.
So it should be a low-cost event for us as
Yeah,
well.
we always have extra old donuts left at the pantry.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Okay, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Transfer funds, Jenny?
Yeah.
Assume that would be
Funds.
There's no
yours.
funds to transfer. I need to transfer $500. You don't need any more signs or posts, do you? 'Cause that's where I'm taking all this money from.
Not right now.
$500 to bituminous because we bought quite a bit of, mulch and, weed killer. $200 to gas and oil for town vehicle. I hope you don't need a whole bunch of that before the end of the year.
We'll just push it.
And then, $1,207 to sidewalks to help pay for the PAMP money. Can I ask a question, please, about PAMP?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, so right now they have $32,760 left on their contracts till the end of the year. Will they bill all of that before the end of the year?
They don't have to, and that is,
A lot of it
The-
is for the, community crossing grant, and the other
Right.
one is for the PAMP.
well, in order for us to be eligible to get community crossing matching grant funds, the PAMP has to be active.
Okay,
And-
do you have to do that every year?
Yes.
So we need to put money in the budget next year for that, because there was no money in the budget for it.
Okay.
So that's why I haven't turned the budget into Miranda yet, because I wanted to see tonight, Judy and I decided we better put like, I think the thing for the PAMP was 20,000, and the community crossing grant was 35. One or the other.
Oh, sure.
So, do you do PAMP every year plus the community crossing grant money every year?
Well, you don't have to do community crossing matching grant every year. I mean, we can apply for that when we have funds available
Okay.
to do that, but we
Well,
don't.
we put money in the budget next year for for grant fund match.
Right.
But this isn't grant fund match that they're charging us for. This is just.
Right. That's to do that PAMP to
So my
be
question
eligible.
is, do I need to put 55,000 again in for next year? Which is what
Ye-
this was, 35 and 20 or 22, one or
Yes.
the other.
Yes, that would be.
Okay. Okay. Now, transfer of funds, the 1207 is paying what we owe on the PAMP. So if we're gonna get more bills for it before the end of the year, I'm gonna have to find more money to transfer to pay for it. That's why I didn't know whether it's something we can say, stop until next year.
And that, where we're getting the money for the PAMP that should be coming out of motor vehicle highway.
It's coming out of motor vehicle highway, yes.
Okay,
Yes. But motor vehicle highway is getting
Low.
We're
very
running out.
sparse, yes. Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
that was my question. And then the other one is motor vehicle highway restricted. The grant fund match money was in paving and resurfacing, so I'm just transferring it up to grant fund match, and that's 22,000. So we're ready for that when it happens. So it's altogether $23,907 in motor vehicle highway and motor vehicle highway restricted.
That's the total you need transferred?
Yes.
I make a motion, we transfer the total of $23,900 to motor vehicle.
okay, got a first motion,
I'll second.
got a second motion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. So now we put in another application for Community Crossing Matching Grant 2
Mhm.
just this month.
And we have and we've got 43,400 specifically. And it's
Okay.
gonna cost 52?
So my question is, do I need to
No, because part of it is in the edit fund, and we have $20,000 for the assistant town manager, and we don't have an assistant town manager. So I can transfer that down to the grant fund match. So we'll have enough for this year.
Okay.
Next year, you never know.
Well, and I mean, I was trying to push us to get more than one CCMG this year, but if we need to back off and just do one a year, we can do that. I can just
Probably have
take
to.
this application away, back, rescind
But
it.
didn't you say that this application right here, the grant fund won't have to be paid until next year?
Yeah, because the award will come from DOT in late October, early November. And then you have 60 days before you assign
Right.
that contract to somebody. And so then by the time it comes around to paying that, it'll be January or February.
But then we won't be able to afford to do another one next year if you do that one, if you do the second one this year. Cause there won't be enough grant fund match money for 2 next year.
When it's awarded in October, is it for the financial year of '24? Or is it for the time when it's awarded in '23 and then running through till October of '24?
Well, when the DOT awards the CCMG, they give you a deadline from the award date to having the contractor, or the paving company under contract, and then they have a deadline for when that contractor has to complete the work.
Okay.
But, so they don't care what year it is. So if you're in the second phase, which the application is due in July,
Uh-huh.
the end of July, and then the award comes out October, November, so all they care about is that those deadlines are meet, and those are usually, like I said, 60 days from the award, and then 90 days from when you have the contractor under contract to do the work.
So technically, we wouldn't need the money until financial 2024.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then we'll have to slow down
Then
and
you probably
wait
have to
till
wait-
2025 for our next
Yeah, you probably have to
application.
wait till October of next year to apply again, so that we can
Okay.
pay for it out of 25's budget,
All right.
unless somebody hits the lottery.
They did in Florida.
Right. Well, and hopefully, when we get the inventory updated, and maybe by next year our funds will come up a little bit. It's not gonna come up
No.
dramatically.
Yeah.
Those are less than a mile of pavement, but, and for the 5.7 miles of pavement, they give us $77,000 a year, is that,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, so we're gonna get
Yeah.
70.
We're not gonna get an extra. All right.
Might be able to pay for the paint, for the lines.
Maybe. Paint's expensive too.
Yes.
Everything's expensive. All right, well, we can, like I said, if the group feels like we should slow down on our CCMG applications, we can revoke our application that we just put in and wait till the first round of next year and apply again, which would be, that's January, February, when you apply for the first round. And then we would be assured that we'd have that grant money,
Yeah,
that grant match.
yeah. Okay.
Does everybody wanna, do we wanna
Yeah, I
pull back our application that we just put in and say we're gonna wait and reapply in round 1 of 2024?
think that's a good idea. I'm for it.
Okay?
When is the deadline that you have to pull it back? I mean, how long do we have to decide?
I mean, technically, I guess you don't have to pull it back at all. You just let the deadlines run out if you do get awarded. But I don't know, I'm a little leery about doing that. I'd rather communicate to DOT, hey,
Stay on the up and up.
we don't have
Yeah.
this, we don't have the intention of doing this round, so we're gonna pull our application.
John Wayne didn't mind.
Yep.
Well, perhaps we should just pull it back and wait until 2024, and that way we've got things.
All right, so I got 2 telling me let's pull our application.
Pull it.
Pull it? Okay. All right, so I will contact DOT and say we're revoking our application for round 2 this year, and we'll resubmit round 1 next year.
Aim for 2 next year. Right?
No.
No. You're not gonna aim for 2 next year. Okay.
No, that's what Jenny's telling me, that's what I got us into
haven't-
trouble by
we
doing
haven't
that
final-
this year. We've applied twice this year, and
Right, but
We're-
we haven't finalized the budget for 24 yet, so rearranging some stuff, maybe we could do it too. I don't know. Just throwing some stuff out there.
well, I mean, from what I remember in our budget workshop, we didn't have a whole lot to
No,
play around
It'd
with.
never, it
We
would
were-
never go through. I mean, you'd have to put at least 35 probably in, no, for 2. You'd have to put like 70 in the edit fund.
Oh, okay.
And 50 or 60 in the motor vehicle highway, and there's no way.
Okay.
But then there's been times that I've thought that they were gonna tell me my budget really sucked, and it went through, so you just never know. I mean, they can always tell you don't have enough money and you can do a reduction.
Right, no, I understand
Well, and last year Miranda told us that, but she said, well, we just assumed you had some surplus that you were gonna pay that difference, and I'm like, well, why would you assume that? Where's the surplus at that we're supposed to have? I don't, maybe we do, I don't know. They're the ones that audit us all the time. All right, so we'll pull the application for CCMG for round 2 of this year and just inform them that we'll reapply for round 1 of next year, and we'll stick to 1 application a year.
Okay.
You know, that slow down our repaving and sidewalk work, but one's better than none, I guess, so. All right, any other discussion on that? Next is bids for a tree removal. Pete?
This is pretty much a no-brainer.
Did you show them the same tree? Cause
Well,
4 times the cost from one?
Chad, he's a friend of the town, and he's basically doing it at cost, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
I just thought maybe he didn't show them the same.
No, he knows what tree.
Well, when I got the bid, I called him and I said, are you sure I told you the right tree? And he said, yeah, that's the right tree.
Okay.
Yeah. He grew up right next door to me when he was a kid.
All right. So everybody's had a chance to look at these tree removal proposals.
Make a motion, we accept artistics. Good.
Okay, got a first motion?
I'll second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we will contact Artistic Touch Tree Service. Next is proposal for some work to be done at the fire station. Pete, you wanna walk through what the request was first, and then your proposals that you got? Pretty please?
Ken and I met today, and in this proposal, it says that they had to have an addition added inside. Well, that addition's already there. Him and I went in there this afternoon, and he wasn't even aware that that,
Where the furnace is at?
yes.
Yeah, we did that in 2020. We added a space because the closet was.
Right, it was in between the 2 walls, actually.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, we added that closet 3 years ago.
okay. So what you see is what you get. He wanted to know if you accept or you want to go with the 95% efficiency or the 92. And where's my?
Well, I have a question.
Okay,
Okay, this is Bill Klons. He says that you have to build, if you build it, they will come. Is he the one that said you had to build the closet-like thing?
Oh, that's what we just talked about.
I know, but is it on here that he said that?
Well, he didn't know that they added
Well, how could he
that.
not know it if he did this? How could he not have gone down there and known that there was a thing to put it in?
I don't know, Kenny.
I mean, I'm just
He
saying.
said he hadn't been there in 2 years.
Okay.
so
And are they staying, is the fire department staying there?
Yeah, they were there when we reserved.
I mean, are they staying there next year and the year after?
oh,
Are we gonna
oh.
put out $15,000 and then they take off and leave? That's just my question.
so is this information about replacing this furnace based on the fact that 3 years ago
2 years ago, he said he was there.
they were, I mean, 2 town managers previous to you
Yeah.
said he wanted to replace that furnace. And he kind of set this in motion. That's why the closet got built, just to give them room to replace the furnace. But then the fire department told us they weren't having any problems with the furnace. So are they now having
Oh, I
problems
don't
with the
know. It was
furnace?
working. It was running when I was there today.
Why did we get a proposal?
I have no idea. Seriously.
Is that something maybe we need to talk to their chief about? Say,
Yeah, I don't even know who okayed this to have him do this.
They have, I do recall them having some complaints over the past few years here and there about issues with it, but then they go away. So I don't know if it's
Right.
just because of extreme heat or extreme cold. But, yeah, we haven't had anything from them
Right.
since he went in and did some work a couple years ago.
Who did the closing anyway? It was for me.
Oh. What was it? He did all the work here. What was his
Oh,
name?
Okay, that was
Bill
Dan.
Klont's done all this. He's on contract.
No,
No.
the drywall, and he's the one who built the closet.
Right, okay.
What was his name?
Dan's friend.
Oh,
You know what they
A, B, C.
Anyway,
Yeah,
he built the closet in order to prepare for a new furnace. But then both Chief Moffett, who was chief before him, they both said, we aren't having any problems with the furnace. And so when they had a question about the garage doors, and they wanted to replace 2 of the garage door opener motors and the garage doors, and we said, well, we're saving that money for your furnace replacement. And they said, we're not having problems with the furnace, we are having problems with the garage doors. So we said, okay, let us know. So that's my question, is are they now having problems with the furnace, I
didn't-
guess?
The air conditioner's working, I'll say that,
All right.
while I was there today.
And you ask about, are they staying there? If the township trustee gets the building back in Hazelwood, which he's trying to do, which would be his office in, and the fire department, there's a chance, they're gonna go down there for a while anyhow. They may end up staying there. So they would operate out of that station down there. But he hasn't got the facility back yet, allegedly, so.
Who has it now?
The Hazelwood Community Association
Yeah,
owns
owns
that
it.
building.
And
So
it should
they're
be,
501c3, so.
yeah.
Well, I don't wanna replace a furnace that's working fine.
Yeah.
I mean, especially to the tune of $11,000.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was a little
can we
steep.
get an official, like, assessment of this and say, you know, what is the problem with the furnace that's currently
Yeah,
being
I
used
mean-
there, and why are we replacing it?
Sure. All I know is when we was there today, and he didn't even know that closet had been there yet. So I told him 2 years ago this needed replaced.
Okay.
And I,
Because he didn't get into it.
They've been there, didn't even know they had it, did they?
yeah,
Yeah, I'm,
All right, so he's still under the impression that it needs to be replaced, Bill Klontz is.
Bill Klont. well,
He
yeah.
said,
Well, yeah, he's an
Oh, yeah.
independent guy.
this needs to be replaced.
Yeah.
All right. And then the second page, you have this electrical, a dryer and cord drop. And what are we replacing there?
What does that say, 30 amp,
30 amp.
240 volt current?
Why don't they just get a
Trip.
clothesline?
Okay. Trevor Bolt. What is he? He's assistant.
He's the
right?
assistant chief.
Yeah, he's assistant.
And is this because there's a problem currently with what they have, or they just don't have any?
I'm assuming this is when they put the new furnace in, that they're just gonna have to change this wiring.
Okay.
well, I know them drop cards they're talking about in the bays. they plug them trucks in, for the electric equipment and stuff, when they back in there, there's a.
Yeah,
running a
Tim
cord.
looked like 110.
Yeah, I don't.
I was looking at Tim today when I was in there.
I think we should table both of these until we find out what's going on
Yeah.
with the department.
Can we have somebody from the department come and talk to us about what they're
I
wanting?
wouldn't, I thought they were gonna be here tonight.
All right, so your homework is find out what is working over there at that building and what is not.
Yeah.
And what do we need to be, what do we need to replace and why? And, how long are they gonna use it? I think Jenny's question is valid. How long are you
Oh,
gonna use
sure
it?
it is.
Are you planning on vacating that building for, you know, what the plan that the township trustee has?
Right.
Any other thoughts or questions? All right. Well, Pete, you stay put. You're next up on the new business. You're, huh?
Hey,
You say
Jenny,
new business?
Yeah. New business.
New business.
What's new?
no.
Well, the angle parking, it's a work in progress. We've got almost half of it done. Problem with that is we gotta wait till there's no business there when they're closed and when it's not raining.
Yeah. Okay.
But it looks like it's working out pretty well. They're using what we've got done.
All right.
And it looks like it's gonna work.
Good. Excellent.
And,
There's,
No
there's 3
complaints?
spots, correct?
well, it's gonna end up, hopefully I can get 6 in there. The last one's a little debatable. Because time you take 5 inches for each stripe and get down to the end, you know, I'm trying to leave enough room where they can get in and get that dumpster in that little short alley right there.
Motorcycle parking for that one.
Yeah, yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I was down there this afternoon, came past. You had 2 cars parked and there's like bumpers to
Right,
stop them.
yeah.
And a truck right next to it that was about that close to the building. No bumper there
Well,
to
that's
stop
what-
it. And he was, or she,
Yeah.
whoever was in that truck. I
Probably
mean, they were that close to that building and
Yeah.
I was like,
Well, that's
wow.
why I put the bumpers there,
Yeah.
so. that-
Yeah.
He just
that's
had,
4 feet so you can walk in front of the parked vehicles.
yeah,
And we got enough bumpers, 6 bumpers to stop them unless they
yeah.
drive over.
Basically, he was parked illegally, the truck was.
Yeah.
But he didn't know that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
hey,
Well,
That's
I
your-
know, I know.
That's your official report
I'll call
on the
that, yeah.
parking status over there. Okay.
And the duplexes are coming along pretty good. You've got them wired, got them insulated. You know, they don't waste no time. They're getting with it.
Yep. He's probably already got renters signed up for him, so he's gotta get them finished.
Yeah. Other than that, that's all I can think.
Any questions for Pete? Anybody? Here. Okay, sir, thank you. George Burnett, you're up next.
All right, only 2 items, but they're both updates. So we'll talk to Banning Engineering today. They're planning on having the team out here by next week to do starting the surveying for that easement that we're talking about for the main truck line. So probably see some people out running around doing that work next week. And then the other one is, went to the school meeting last week, and things have gotten pushed back again because of that generator, so now they're looking at probably the end of October, 1st of November before anything will take place there and happen.
Are you talking about the easements from Ron's house
Yeah.
over to the, okay.
That's all I got.
Mm-mm. Didn't you wanna ask about it?
No, you said there's no money, so.
Yes, there is money.
Your money's different than ours. You
Well-
get,
Different.
yours is customer,
So,
You have
Utility.
$251,000.
You shouldn't have told him that.
well, okay, then I'm gonna say.
yeah, yours is a user utility, not a taxpayer.
Yeah.
Well, so
Funded
I'm
thing.
trying to do pressure washing down there on the tank to keep it up to speed. So, you know, we fixed all the things because IDEM was out, and we got the chlorine tank now to where that doesn't happen. I want to go to the next step, which is to aggressively keep the algae and the debris down that happens on the troughs just naturally in that tank. So what we did this last, 2 weeks ago, I borrowed a septic's pressure washer. The thing is sweet as can be. Lowered the tanks, pressure washed it all off, and I was like, man, I gotta have one of those. So I went and priced it, but with the washer and all the attachments, it's gonna be around $2,500. So it's, I priced it through Plainfield Equipment. It's a steel brand. Pressure washer is like 4,200 PSI. I think it's 4 gallons a minute. By the time I buy all the attachments, I think the pressure washer sells around 18, and then attachments is gonna be around $2,500. But that would give me a ability to be able to pressure wash and keep that thing clean all the time. I actually had somebody, the Rural Alliance was here, they stopped and saw me this last week, I think it was on Tuesday. He said, wow, how'd you get this thing that clean? I was like, well, took a pressure washer and cleaned it up.
A toothbrush.
But the problem with it is the algae and stuff, especially in the summer months, it just grows like crazy. And I brush it every day, twice a day, but you still can't keep up with it, so.
When that algae and stuff in there, say you sprayed it, do you use some kind of a, like
Just-
bleach or
just
Clorox?
water,
so-
Just high pressure washer.
It's the chlorine tank, right?
No,
Yeah.
this is the actual, tank, the big white tank, the actual tank that where all the solids and everything comes into.
Oh,
This is our
okay.
treatment tank.
Oh, okay.
So within that tank, there's walls, so it builds up on the walls,
Yeah.
and then there's troughs inside of there, and it builds up on the trough walls, on the insides and outsides.
So is that a once a month thing you have to do? or
Probably,
once a week?
I'm thinking I'll be able to get by maybe every 3 weeks or something like that, is what I would probably end up doing. It's building up on me now, and probably in another week, I'm gonna have to.
And nothing about spraying is detrimental to the
No,
coating
no,
or anything?
no,
Okay.
no. It's just, we use just regular water, and it's just pressurized water, so you aggressively get all that stuff to make it let loose and let go.
For that price, does it come with a bucket seat and a cup holder?
You gotta hold on to it and hold on tight, cause it really is.
Oh, great. Now we're gonna get a call from George is up in the air like this, holding on to that.
My plan would be to get an extra wand with it, so I'm standing on the grates and not getting, cause that, when we did it 2 weeks ago, James was down there with me and helping, his helper. It was all 3 of us doing it. And they were getting down in there, and I was like, well, that's a little risky, so I'll stand on top and do
Yeah.
it.
And he'll call them back over to get down there.
So, I was gonna ask for that,
What,
but.
what's
Jay said,
OSHA
yeah.
got to say about that?
Oh, wow. There's 3 of us.
Wear your reflective vest.
We were taking care of each other.
Well, it sounds like something we need to keep done anyhow.
Yeah.
Stay ahead. Well, I'll make a motion that you buy your pressure washer.
Good, all right.
Okay, got a first motion?
I'll second that.
Got a second motion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
You were also looking into, speaking of your chlorine tank, that, you know, the ultraviolet light dissipates your chlorine pretty quick, and you were thinking about putting a shade
Yeah.
over that. Have you,
James, well, I kind of backed off because Benner was thinking that he's gonna take down that one that he's got and do some work because of his project. So I need to ask him, because he was gonna give that one to us, I think.
Oh.
So, I need to re-ask him and make sure. If not, then yeah. Because when the sun's out, it eats it up, so it does cause us, and the chlorine keeps going up, so there's gonna be a nice break-even point, especially if we can get one for hardly nothing or quote free. So I'll revisit that, yeah.
All
And
right,
that
yeah.
system's working great. I don't know if you went down and seen it, but there's nothing staying in that tank now. It's doing really good. It
You
was a
were-
Nice addition.
you were also working on installing the flow meter
Yeah.
kind of a system?
Yeah, we've had,
in your-
we're down to now, we came out and we did another test. That all's working well, so what we're working on now is getting, a manhole cover, because those steel ones won't work well, so that's what's in there now. So they actually make a composite one, so I'm working with, the guy that's helping do the development and with the company that makes those. So it'll be a composite one, so the ones that we're gonna do the test spots on, we'll take out the lids and put this new composite one on so it can communicate and get the information out of the wood well. So, moving forward.
When do you anticipate that starting to
I
give
just
you
talked to him
usable
yesterday,
data?
So, I would hope within the next month or so.
Okay.
If we can get this lid thing going here, we should be in pretty decent shape to start doing something with it.
Right. Nobody will have to worry about if they drive over one of these composite
No, cause
lids.
it's fully rated, they're NDOT rated, you know, lids
Sure.
and everything, so.
Gotcha.
No, it's
Okay.
fully, instead of a steel, it's composite. They make them just for these kind of applications, so.
You also had begun a project with diverting if you had, I mean, I know we haven't had a whole lot of gully washers recently,
yeah.
but if you get too much flow down there,
Right.
you'll divert into a different tank, and that's
Yep, it's up and running.
all up
It's
and running, working like it's
good.
supposed to, okay.
Yep. Yeah, no problems with that at all.
Very good.
That tank's actually, and I don't know, long-term, we, you know, come up with where we're going long-term, because right now the flows are down nicely, right? We're running probably 80,000 a day, so we've got a lot of headroom. If we fix more on I&I, that's probably gonna stay even with that. Instead of building on and adding that tank above ground, it might make sense to use that tank as just that purpose until we can get all these things fixed, so. IDEMS doesn't seem to have any issues with doing that. Actually, they're advocating that we do it because it keeps it from surging. So,
And you've gotten the application for our new permit
that's all sent in. I
sent
think
in,
you-
and
You guys mailed that, right?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. With all the, you have to have labels and got all that submitted with
Sure.
it, so we should be good.
yeah, we just had to have it
It's back in their
before.
hands now.
Okay,
So, yeah.
good, all right.
Good. Good question.
Cause I know she called me, the IDEM lady, last month, and I said, oh no, we're working on it.
Yeah.
We're not,
Yeah.
we don't wanna be without a permit for
No,
our
no.
wastewater treatment.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything else for George? Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
All right, Chief Remender, I have you on here again if you have anything else.
Two things.
Okay.
One is just wanted to let everybody know, we always work with Mill Creek Schools and Cascade, so doing extra patrols, and then you'll see a lot of our guys working the football games or sporting events over at the school. We've also done active aggressor and emergency action plans with them, especially we got the school over here, but also we're the closest agency to Cascade High School, so just wanted to let you know that we're working hand in hand with the Sheriff's Department, helping them out. The other one is, I've got tentatively trying to do a Music in the Park September 9th. Got Spontaneous Combustion. I think you got the park on that day too, and I was hoping maybe it was earlier, not maybe later.
Is yours the 9th or the 10th? Yours is
The
the
9th.
9th.
Yours is till 9?
It should be over with by 3 o'clock at the latest.
Oh, okay. So that'll work.
Okay, so,
Okay, that'll work.
but you do have a band. this
I
time.
do, I got Spontaneous Combustion.
I've heard of them.
Okay.
And then, kind of in negotiations with another one, I think we have enough money that, we can do another one, and so kinda 26th has come up, and then, Saturdays are well, 26th did come up, but it's already
It's
taken,
all
isn't it?
taken.
So I'm gonna check
But I
and see maybe on the
think, I think it's a
25th.
little kid's birthday party,
So
so
it
I
might be
don't
during
think
the
that they will
day?
be there very long. I can
Okay.
call her and find out.
Okay, yeah, let's check with that.
Okay.
26th of September.
Nope, of August, of August.
Well, on that September 9th venue,
Mm-hmm.
on your menu, are you having like chocolate cake with white icing?
This says
It's
happy birthday,
it's somebody's
John.
birthday that day,
Oh, is it? Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we can have that.
Okay.
We'll try to get that.
if I'm still above the ground.
The rings for the fire department too, because of the candles.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. Yeah, we better have standby there,
Yeah.
staging. And didn't you have a food van possibly that was interested in?
Yeah,
Give me that information, and
Again.
that might be something to.
Okay.
to look
well, they weren't
at.
too cheap. It was.
Oh, they weren't?
That was the last ones that was down there when the Copper Howell had a vending
Okay.
booth down there, but they were selling pulled pork sandwiches and that stuff, but a small sandwich about this size was $8.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, so I don't,
Cause I wanna try to do a bounce house for the 9th as well, that goes over really well with the kids. Kinda like it.
Have you ever
Yeah, well, I
tried?
was thinking a dunk tank, too.
And
We need
birthday-
council,
birthday
we need
people should
council
be done.
members to volunteer.
On their birthday.
It's on their birthday.
On their
that's right.
birthday.
Done time.
Huh?
That's right, their birthday.
Have you ever tried contacting, like a civic organization like Tri Kappa or even one of the churches to see if maybe they would wanna go hand in hand and them do, food?
So I've done
for-
one, the bank has done some things in the past.
Yeah, cause they have a
They
food
got-
truck or something.
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good idea. The bank's the only one that we've ever reached out
Tri-Kappa's
to.
done stuff down there before, haven't they?
Yeah.
Music in the
Yeah, that's-
park or movie in the park or
Yeah,
something?
could be.
I think
Could
so.
be. So, I mean, you know, that might be a moneymaker for them and still get cheaper sandwiches than
Right.
$8,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, we need something that's fairly reasonable, cause it's,
yeah.
I would agree. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'll reach out to both of those entities. Is Tri-Kappa in Danville?
No,
No, we have a-
Mill Creek.
Oh, we-
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I've got like Trudy Cummings' number, I've got some phone numbers I
Okay,
can give you.
okay, good.
Yeah,
Yeah, Myra Franklin, Judy
Yeah.
Cummings, they're on the operational board of that
yeah.
group.
Good, no, that sounds good. That's all I got. Unless somebody's got anything for me?
Well, yeah,
What do
I
you
got
got?
one more question. The last time, you know, you had the music in the park and
Uh-huh.
you bought X amount of pizzas or something like that.
Right.
There was quite a large tip on there for the facility that you bought it from.
What was it?
I'm not sure, I think
Remember.
200, I think.
No, the tip was $53.
Oh, 53, oh, yeah. I meant, nothing is, but I'm thinking if you're, a place is cooking for you and you're already paying them, I don't feel that you need to tip
Okay.
them. If they're buying 20 or 30 of them, they're getting a pretty good chunk.
Hey, I get it.
Okay.
I'm a tipper, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kinda,
Okay.
I just don't know whether the State Board of Accounts will be
we'll
very
take
happy
that,
when
yeah.
they.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
if
the only-
I will pay for that if that
Yeah,
would
don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't think. yeah.
need to be.
I'll talk them out of it.
At the next audit.
Yes, at the next audit.
I wasn't thinking about
Yeah.
that. I appreciate you bringing that,
Okay,
yeah.
but-
I'll-
Any other questions for Chief Remender? All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, anything else for, oh, Pete's got one more thing. Oh,
Once
boy.
you sit down, you're done.
That's right, you done
Well,
lost out, buddy.
You guys asked for a contact list last meeting, and you should have it
Yeah.
there. If you guys have any add-ons, let me know.
And while you're standing up there, you might tell the audience you're wanting people to attend your meeting.
Oh,
this
yeah,
evening.
August 16th. There'll be 3 meetings, comprehensive plan. They want residents of the town to come and give their opinion what they think the town needs to do for the future. They start at 9 in the morning, last an hour,
No,
15-minute break, 10:15, 11:15, and from 11:30 to 12:30.
But it's all the same meeting, but at
Yeah,
three
it's all
different
the same
meetings.
meeting,
Okay.
just 3 different starts.
yeah, you can come to all three of them if you want, but it'll be a little boring. You'll be repeating.
So when did you say they start at 9?
9 in the morning.
9.
9, 11:30 and,
11:15 and 12, and 11, let's see.
10:15.
9 to 10, 10:15.
10:15.
11:15,
Yeah.
11:30,
30
and 12:30.
to, yeah.
Can you send me that so I can post it on the website?
Okay. And it's also out here on your, look,
Okay.
I have a question about that out there.
Yeah.
Is there a way that you can make it
bigger.
stay on there longer?
Yeah,
oh yeah,
Because
cause I've tried to
That,
read that.
that what, about meetings, 3 meetings, you can't even get down the first line
well,
and
it's
it's
sort of
over.
like, It's sort of like, you know, when you're watching a movie at the end.
The
I
credits.
guess we need to take somebody's speed reading
Yeah,
course and all that.
Yeah.
I'll fix it.
Yeah, it needs to be on there a little bit
It's
longer.
up there about
And I
three
didn't
You think 10 seconds? It's
I
on
didn't
there.
understand what it was anyway, cause it doesn't say like, maybe it should say comprehensive
Well,
planning meeting or something.
I was trying to use as few words as possible because when you
Plus,
go,
there's not
every
very much
line
room.
makes the lettering even smaller, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Well, you can use more than one page. So your first page introduces, upcoming and comprehensive plan meeting. Next page, then you have the date,
The times.
times. Right, so, and then each page should be up there about 8 seconds or
Or
so.
10.
8 or 10, yeah.
8 or 10
Yeah.
seconds.
I'll work with you on that.
Not 3.
You work with
Yeah, John will take
You
care
stand
of
out there and tell me how long.
Okay.
Read it.
Yeah, because Judy and I were out there the other day, we were like. We just read it, yeah.
Which the engineering firm that's working with us, that's consulting with us on the comprehensive plan, has put up a website, and it's ClaytonCompPlan.com, and it's all one word, lowercase, ClaytonCompPlan.com. So, and they're asking people to log on there and get the information that's being presented there.
And who is this, Structure Point or?
American Structure Point is the engineering firm that's consulting with us on this. And so,
And how much are they charging? What do I need to-
fortunately, well, no, I guess not. I mean, we got the Ochre grant, so, but then we have a matching part to that, so, but we agreed to that last budget. So hopefully that's
Now
still
I'm done.
part of it. Now you're done. All right. Okay, do we have anybody written on there?
Yeah.
Okay. Communications guy.
Anybody?
Yeah.
Jay Thompson, your small town rep on the Communications Advisory Board. We've had 2 meetings since I was here last. In May, we voted to give the telecommunicators about a $2.50 an hour raise, so now we're, I think, slightly above what Hamilton County pays, and it's paying off and getting applicants. Doug Burris, who's our director, said that they're seeing maybe not so much a better quality of applicant, but people who have experience versus people without that need extensive training. 3 people just went through a training phase and now been released to the floor, I believe, as of last week. I think we're still down 4 full-time equivalents short, but that's pretty much every communication center you find in the country, unfortunately, just the nature of the business. The budget was presented by the town of Plainfield. We approved, it's about $6.6 million, up about $760,000 over last year. Over half that's because of the pay raises.
Almost as much as ours.
So, yeah. Also, they had last year Plainfield
Yeah.
hired a public safety director, so I wasn't in agreement with it, but 33% of his salary is going to the county, being billed through the communications center. We were working with just a director and no deputy director, but Doug Burris stepped down from the director back to his deputy director position. So there will be an advertisement going out for directors, so that would be an additional salary. Also, they have over 40 applicants in this last round, so it sounds like good chance of maybe getting back up to full speed, so. One thing I noticed last year, we got a full breakdown of how they fund, and they're taking 11% of 4 of the council members' salaries for Plainfield, billing it to the county, so I didn't know, do you guys do all your salaries out of general fund? I know we did that in Pittsburgh until last year when I brought this idea back to our council, so now we've split, and I think we're taking about 60% from our utility fund and 40% from our general to try to relieve our general fund to some degree. So we haven't heard anything back from the State Board of Accounts yet, but they're upset about this. And like I said, Plainfield was already doing it. In fact, the council president was billing 20% of his salary as a liaison.
We used to do half and half,
Yeah.
half general and half sewer, and then we started doing it all general. Maybe we ought to think about going back that way, save a little money in the general fund.
Yeah, that's helped us a little bit,
Yeah.
so. Not a whole bunch, because we're only about $4,000 a year and $5,000, I think, for the president, so.
Yeah.
But every little bit helps, so. Also, the EMA director has resigned. I don't know if you knew that. She went to full-time job with FEMA up in Chicago, so the county would be looking for somebody to replace her. I got to know her the last couple of years because I worked disasters for the federal government and also the state of California, so I've been down there a lot helping them with two-way radio issues and just overall anything else that I can assist with. So it's some pretty big shoes to fill, so. And also, I don't know if you're aware that at last week's council meeting, they gave up a bunch of the lit money they had coming for next year, split it in half and gave a bunch to townships to help the fire departments. And so the commissioners passed that ordinance or resolution Tuesday morning. And I think you guys at Liberty were scheduled to get about $160-some thousand coming in. I know it was a little over 109 for North Salem or Eel River, so that's gonna help them a lot, because they're the only true volunteers left, I guess. They're trying to do some paid staff during the day shift next year, because Liston's been able to do that this year, so that's gonna be a big help. And that's all I've got, unless you have any questions.
And that was from the county, you said?
Yes,
Okay.
that was the county council proposed that, and then the commissioners signed the ordinance on Tuesday morning. It didn't go to territories, because that's what we are in Pittsburgh, we're a fire territory, so we didn't, but Liston did, and North Salem, and you
Okay.
guys.
Yeah.
I think there were five townships, so money's going to the township then, so they can go to the police department that way. Apparently, it was, the State Board of Accounts felt it was better to do it that way for whatever reason. So,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
All right, thank you very much. Anything else for the?
I just wondered about did you ever figure out how to get the password, how to get the thing changed at the park?
No, we went down there, we actually, David has sent an email to Matt. I'm having trouble getting Matt to come in. And then I also then sent out to the company to see if they could help us.
Yeah.
We were paying Matt for
Well,
that
So we,
stuff.
but yes, he just isn't coming in and doing it.
We
Well,
should
pay
pay him.
Well,
then.
We're not paying him.
We haven't
He's
paid
not
him,
coming in.
yeah, we haven't paid him.
We're only paying when he comes in. So, but-
I think if we could just set up a meeting and just.
I agree
just
with you.
comb through everything in about an hour session or whatever we have, we'll make a list of, comprehensive list before he comes in, and we'll
I
just go
agree.
through everything, and then we won't have to bother.
And then I'll bring one of my other guys that's a good IT guy
Yeah.
too, and with you, I think we can do fine. You know, you guys talk with my.
John, you should probably be there. for
John,
that.
yeah, John should probably be there too.
I'll be the coordinator.
It's important that we have access to our equipment and that we.
We went down and messed
John's
with it.
bringing the
It just-
donuts.
It exploded. Movie rebooted it.
All right.
Did all kinds of stuff. I had one
Good
other
question.
thing that
Oh.
you actually brought up for the emergency management director. We do have she put a grant in for us for a radio. And so I'll try to follow up with her to see where that stands. She was putting us in with Avon Fire Department, so I think I mentioned that maybe about 2 months ago. So I'll follow up on that to see if that's come through or where that's.
That's a FEMA grant?
Yes,
Okay.
that's exactly what it was.
She did a
Very
lot
good.
For the county grant.
She was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, all those vests and everything.
Yeah.
I just dropped one off at Liston Fire in the day, and still have one sitting down there, so.
Okay,
Did it
yeah,
all done.
she's great, we're gonna miss her, that's for sure.
All right, anything else, Steve? John?
Yeah, I got a couple things. At Western and Michigan, where Lance used to live, that rock that's right there on town property, I think we ought to have that removed, because if you've got a vehicle that's gonna turn west there, it's coming north, gonna turn west at the four-way stop, and you're coming east and you're turning south, you hit that, good chance of hitting that rock, cutting the corner there.
Which would probably be my guess why somebody put that there to keep you from driving in their yard.
That rock, what's his name? The town manager we had a long time ago. Dan, give that guy permission to put it there. And I don't think it ought to be there, cause it's on town property. I mean, if you're gonna drive across town property, you're not, other than hitting the rock, I think it all needs to be moved. It's a hazard. You can go by and look at it and see what you think.
Well, I mean,
'Cause it's in
the
the
guy
right
that
of way.
needs to go assess that,
Yeah, it's in the right
sitting
of
right
way.
there. So,
Yeah.
Pete's got more homework.
Yeah,
You go down there and assess that rock situation.
Yeah.
And determine
My sidekicks, or
what,
my sheep at me when I go there.
Yeah,
what needs to happen with the rock.
and, someone at the pantry told me, he said the light that shines on the flag, he says it wasn't working. So I looked at it today when of course it wasn't on, but the nozzle for the hose and the sprinkler head was sitting on top of the lens, which could be a good reason why. So I won't know till it gets dark. So if you happen to be out after dark, see if it's shining.
Somebody mentioned that to me as well.
Well,
Yeah.
how long,
That's what
we've
it
had
used
that
to
for
work.
5 or 6 years, haven't we?
That light, yeah,
Has the
Well,
bulb
that-
ever been changed? Probably not.
but I don't know how long that sprinkler covers the whole top of it.
That's true.
And the hose
It's
itself.
been working, I mean,
That's true.
Yeah, I
come
don't pay
in the
them.
evenings, it's been on.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know we've talked about putting a sign up for the park, so people will know which direction the park is, being it's down there. My opinion, I think if we put one up, we should put it across the street where the new parking facility is gonna be, pointing this way instead of out here in the yard, because it's so hard to see traffic coming from the south when you pull up there anyhow, and that would just be another hazard, I believe.
I sent an email off to one of the sign companies
Yeah,
today,
yeah.
trying to get an estimate or if they can even do it.
Yeah.
From a photo.
Yeah, but I just think it'd be safer if the sign was over there than right here in the yard.
Biggest thing that obstructs your view is that brick wall that we have since the state lowered 39 down when they did their reconstruction, because there used to be a nice just slope in front of this building and not a retaining wall.
Yep.
That's just my opinion.
Fix one thing and you seem to
Yeah,
break two others in the process.
and that's all I have.
Josh, tell you.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so we got Pete some more homework to investigate those issues.
Yeah.
All right. And Leanne, you got anything to add? Nothing.
Nothing.
All right, we have a consensus to adjourn.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, at 8:20.